Hey everyone, Gill Gross here post-match. Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Nick Kyrgios, Wimbledon 2022, round 3. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Kyrgios wins. 4 sets. Now 4-1 against Tsitsipas. Moving on to round 4 at Wimbledon and looking like this will be his best chance to go deep in a major in a long, long time. Big win here over Stefanos. The premier and marquee match in the third round, and certainly it generated all the buzz that we expected it to. Now, the tennis was good, and that's where I'm going to start with. There was other stuff that happened that has nothing to do with tennis. There is behavioral stuff that I will get to at the end. I'm going to save it for the end. Long story short, I am disgusted with both of them for very different reasons and in very different ways and on different levels. But I'm disgusted with both of them. So if you want to hear why, stick around till the end. Let's start with the tactics. Let's start with the tennis. There were a lot of things that happened in this match that I expected, that I thought would happen. Things were playing out exactly like you would think. There is one thing that I didn't see coming that I think will keep Stefanos Tsitsipas up at night. He's got to serve better, and he can serve better than he did in this match. Of all the things that happened in the match, I think from a tactical standpoint, now forget, mentally, I think there's some other stuff, but from a tactical standpoint, I think that's the number one thing that he is going to regret. If you look at first serve percentage, he finished 59% first serves in. And while that number, it's not good, it's not atrocious, I think it's worth noting that in the sets that he was above 60%, set 1, 61%, set 4, 63%, not great, but, a little bit more acceptable, he did not get his serve broken. In sets 2 and 3, when in set number 2, Tsitsipas served 53% in play, and in set 2, 53%, in set 3, 55%. Those were the sets where he was broken. The big problem with Tsitsipas missing so many first serves is they came in bunches. He didn't spread them out. If you spread them out, you're in better shape. But if you're playing an elite server on grass, you can't have games where you're basically surrendering your first serve. And that's kind of what happened here. In the second set, he was 30 love up and he went 3 for 6 for the remainder of that game. But there were other games in the second set where he just missed tons of first serves. And then in the game in the third set where he got his serve broken, this was much more egregious. He went 2 for 8 in the game that ultimately he was broken. 2 for 8. I mean, Nick never did that the entire match. Tsitsipas, if you're going to have a 2 for 8 game, it's likely going to cost you the set against an elite server on grass. I also thought that Kyrgios seemed to read Tsitsipas's first serve pretty often. And I'm wondering if it was kind of because of Steph's toss. Now, maybe some credit goes to Kyrgios. I know that this has happened in the past in this matchup. For some reason, Nick seems to know sometimes where Steph is going. And I wonder if Tsitsipas is just not really serving to all the different spots from the same toss, if Nick is getting a read on his toss. Regardless, the percentage really needs to be higher for Steph. And I thought he could have had a better day on first serve. I didn't expect that. What I did expect was, and the reason I thought Kyrgios would win this match, it was very simple. I said, look, Kyrgios serves too well for Tsitsipas's return of serve. And that's just a mismatch there. And I think on grass, it's not a mismatch that is overcomable for Steph. And I thought that certainly was the case in this match. I mean, if you look at the fourth set tiebreak, Kyrgios won all 4 points when he made a first serve to the Tsitsipas backhand. If you look at Tsitsipas's best chance to break Nick's serve, love 40 in the fourth set. Kyrgios hits 3 serves to the Tsitsipas backhand. 3 first serves. 2 are unreturned. One of them is a serve plus 1 winner on the forehand. Then it's deuce. He goes to the backhand again, unreturned. Then he goes to the backhand again, forehand inside in, plus 1 winner. Did it 6 times in a row. You know where it's going. Big point. First serve's going to the backhand, and Tsitsipas just unable to really do anything about it. Obviously, I'm highlighting important moments in the match for a reason, because I think in a close grass court match, these things are important. But if you're asking me, was Tsitsipas's backhand return really good enough to break Nick's serve? No, I don't think it was. I thought that pretty much when Nick made a first serve to Tsitsipas backhand, he pretty much won the point. And first, win percentage on first serve in the match, Kyrgios was 81%. And let me check the directionals, actually. I didn't check this before the video. Let's see. Total serves in for Nick. Is this total serves in? Oh, wow. He actually mixed it up quite a bit. He mixed it up, but that includes second serves, but and first serves. But I'm seeing 27 to the backhand versus 24 to the forehand on deuce. I'm seeing 25 to the backhand versus 21 to the forehand on ad. Okay, that kind of surprises me. I thought it was more dedicated towards the Tsitsipas backhand return, but of course the point stands, and I'm pointing out where he's going under pressure, and you can see it's the backhand. The swing path is just not good on the block return. It is too vertical. It is too up to down. There is no through the ball, and the ball just pops up and it floats. It goes up in the air, and it shouldn't go up in the air. A good block return stays low, and Tsitsipas's block return, it just pops up, and that's the problem. And I think a lot of it is just the swing path. It's too much. It's like he's chopping wood. It's up to down. I mean, you gotta go to the ball. There should not be, it should not be so vertical. There should be some horizontal to your swing path. Anyway, you see 2 backhand returns. You see that one, the block return that pops up, and then every time he tries to drive it or hit over it, he's late and he doesn't make it in play. The block return actually does go in play. He can get it in. It's just, it's very, very attackable because it doesn't stay low is the reason why. And the drive return doesn't go in. The block return is attackable, and that's the predicament on the Tsitsipas return serve. And by the way, in particular, let's be clear. Nick's first serve, and I want to make sure I hit this and I'm clear about this. Nick's first serve is insane, absolutely insane. So if we're talking about, Tsitsipas isn't winning on first serve return points, kind of understandable. I thought there were way too many instances where on second serve, Tsitsipas could not make a good backhand return, by the way, as well. And returns in general. And I think that's a bigger problem. That's where I think we would see, especially the elite returners, make sure that they could handle Nick's second serve at the very least. In fact, in the second set, here's another key moment I want to highlight. 3-all in the second set. Of course, Tsitsipas won the first set in a breaker. Tsitsipas had 15-30, and Tsitsipas backhand slice in rally, floated into the middle of the court. Kyrgios hit a forehand inside in winner. So that was in rally, and the slice kills him. Then second serve, service winner into the backhand. Another second serve. This one was a kicker to wide, and again, it's unreturned. Now, part of it, again, Nick's second serve is also incredible. So here's my take, okay? Other than Tsitsipas's return versus Nick's serve, that was a mismatch in this match. That was a problem. That was a big reason why Kyrgios won. Now, beyond that, zooming out and putting that into context, that's most players. Can I be clear about that? That's most players. Most players can't handle Nick's serve. Steph is one of them on grass. Steph is one of them. The only reason why this is, something that we can highlight and that, we could criticize Tsitsipas for or point out in a pretty direct fashion is that it's not as much the case for Nadal and Djokovic and Medvedev and Zverev. And these are the players we compare Tsitsipas to, okay? But I just want to throw that out there. That is like the vast majority of players cannot handle Nick's serve on grass. They can't. And again, Steph, I'm not crapping on his return. I'm not. That's most players. But I'm saying it's not good enough, okay? I also want to give a shout out to Kyrgios' backhand. I thought it was a major disruption in this match. On second serve return, it is especially potent. He takes it very early. He gets a lot of depth. And this is in rally 2. And I felt like Kyrgios' backhand depth, especially cross-court to Tsitsipas' backhand, was a huge disruption. His backhand unforced error count was a lot lower than Tsitsipas's, and he did more damage. It was just a much more productive shot, and it's especially key in winning second serve points on return for Kyrgios, because we talk about Kyrgios hitting his second serves, and usually he hits it triple digits, very strong. He still gets a lot of purchase out of his second serve. Kyrgios does not get a lot of purchase out of his second serve into Kyrgios' backhand, especially because it's so compact. He takes it so early, often hits it so clean. It's so flat. It rips through the grass court, and it has a way of rushing Tsitsipas, especially when it's directed at the backhand. And then it definitely rushes Tsitsipas. So that's a big deal, Kyrgios' backhand, and I think it deserves a shout out. It was a major key here. I come away from this match, conclusions, before I get to the behavior. I come out of this match feeling like the idea that Kyrgios is actually just better than Tsitsipas on grass is kind of reaffirmed because of the way this match played out. I thought that this could have been worse for Tsitsipas. Kyrgios pretty much consistently applied more pressure. There was a point late in the fourth set where Tsitsipas was actually the better player and was applying more pressure. But that was really the only point in the match. I felt like that was it. And in the first set, felt like Nick was the better player. If anything, it should have been reversed. Kyrgios should have won the first set, and Tsitsipas should have won the fourth set, if we go by kind of the level of play. But that's neither here nor there. It's not really how tennis works. Nick had break points in a handful of games in every set until the fourth set. And he went 2 of 14 on break opportunities. There were a couple of things that went into that. I thought generally Tsitsipas served better with his back against the wall, down break point. I think Tsitsipas came up with some great forehands, down break point. Kyrgios made some forehand errors, a couple of them that you'd circle. And then, especially in the first set, I thought Nick got cute a couple of times. Bad drop shots, weird decisions to go to the forehand slice. If you look at those 12 points and 10 of them won by Tsitsipas, I think those are the categories that you'll see. Because, again, I paid extra attention to those points, knowing after the match that it was 2 of 14 in the end. Tsitsipas, on the other hand, Kyrgios getting chances throughout the match. Tsitsipas, on the other hand, one break chance before the fourth set, got aced. Then he had 3 in the same game in the fourth set. So, the break point stat, it can be a little bit misleading when you get many in the same games. And Nick's were spread out, had break points in many, many games, and Tsitsipas had break points in 3 games, and never broke serve. So I felt like this could have been straight sets if Kyrgios was a little bit more clutch on these break points. And credit to Steph. I'm just saying, I do think the better player won here. Now, let's get to the behavior. Nick has a lot of character issues. He is a hypocrite. He has little self-awareness. He is rather abusive, and these things aren't really new. So that is why I never make excuses for Nick. There are none. I mean, after the first round, he complained about getting disrespected by people in the crowd after spending the whole match disrespecting on-court officials, abusing on-court officials. If you're going to dish it, then you have to be able to take it too. I mean, come on now. In this match, just can't accept the lines judge making a mistake. First mistake, he asked for the lines judge to be removed. One mistake. As if Nick is perfect. The fact, his reaction to when the lines judge makes one mistake, completely ridiculous and inappropriate. He argues about a Tsitsipas late challenge in this match, for example. He was dead wrong. Wrong. The rule is that you have to challenge in a timely manner. Tsitsipas did. Did he give up a sitter? Nick was like, oh, Steph wouldn't have challenged had he not given up a sitter. If he made a good return, he wouldn't have challenged. Yeah, that's true. Guess what? That's not the rule. That's not the rule. And he's going at chair umpire Damien Dumassois, I believe is how it's pronounced. Damien Dumassois is going at him, and he has no argument. I never defend this stuff. Never. I defend some things Nick says, like I'm a top 10 player on grass, and people want to go at him for that. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on. Every player, he should feel like that. It's ridiculous to criticize him for that. I roll my eyes when people say that he's bad for the sport. It's clearly not true. But I don't defend his character. I don't know how you can talk to people the way Nick talks to people. I don't get that. That's just me. So I'm not defending Nick. I'm not defending Steph either. Steph's not a victim here. But for Steph, his issue is he was not a good competitor. You know, Kyrgios was not a good human in this match. Tsitsipas was not a good competitor. That's the difference. I'm not saying Steph's a bad person. I'm not saying there were any character flaws here. I'm saying he was a bad competitor. Because Nick doing Nick things like underarm serving, arguing with the umpire, maybe, a little bit of fast serving and some showmanship during the point. Whatever it was that got Tsitsipas angry, he got angry. He got rattled. And what does he do? He hits a ball into the crowd. It missed a guy by 4 inches. 4 inches, and Tsitsipas gets defaulted. He gets defaulted. Nick thought he should have been defaulted. Actually, we have a silly rule in tennis, and we've seen it time and time again. If nobody gets hit, you don't get defaulted. Should that be the rule? I don't know. That's how it goes. Whatever. If Djokovic missed the lines judge, he wouldn't have been defaulted. He didn't. It hit her. This, it missed the fan. That's it. End of story. All right? Not done. Tsitsipas then hits an in-ball play into the back fence off of a Kyrgios underarm serve. He could have made the return. But he was too pissed off to make the return. So he gave up the point. That's pathetic. That's not being a good competitor. That's letting him win. Then later on, he has a sitter put away, a sitter forehand volley, and he tries to peg Nick, and he missed it. He missed the volley. He lost the point. He had no business losing that point. He could have won the point. He could have won the other point where he hit the ball into the back fence. He should have won that point. He lost both those points. He could have been defaulted when he hit the ball into the crowd. Why am I disgusted with Tsitsipas and his behavior in that match? Because he was shooting himself in the foot. His ability to win the match. He was shooting himself in the foot. Why? Because Nick was arguing with the umpire and somehow he couldn't figure out a way to handle that in his own head. You have to, especially with the reputation that Kyrgios has. How are you not ready for that? How are you not ready for this? You know it coming onto the court, so be prepared. I'm disgusted with Nick as a human. I'm disgusted with Steph as a competitor. So that's that. I will cover Alcaraz versus Sinner tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.